Are you looking after the weekend to pick up any injuries or?
We're a bit beaten up and sore. It was one of those strange days really, because like you say, the weather conditions and the pitch have had a bigger effect on us than actually probably the physicality of the game. And when you go into those games, you talk about the mindset and being really focused about what you want, but you're always a little bit under because of the day that it is. It took us a little bit of time, and it took our senior players at half time to be able to say, pull your finger out, lads. And that's the response you got from half time was from what those players said at half time to give us a kick on in the second half. And they're the kind of games I think the pitch plays a bigger, all that kind of stuff. It plays a bigger part than anybody thinks, and for us to be moaning about the pitch must be extreme, because like I say, everybody's just scored our pitch for the last 2-3 years.
When you get in that position, then is it just a case of trying to get yourselves into the hat for the next round? Yeah. I
think, you want to put performance in, but when you review it and look back on it, we were good in lots of things. We're smart. We play the conditions really well. Like I say, we've got 2-3 really smart players who know how to play the conditions and just can control the team really well. So we play the conditions really well. We know that having the ability now to be able to switch on, and that's something that we found over last year. Being able to know that you're off just a touch, but be able to find it within the game. That's hard work. It's not something you want to have to do all the time, but it's nice to have it in your locker that you can just switch on again and take another step forward. But these are the kind of games, like I say, you just want to, if you're away at Halifax or away at any kind of championship side, you need to get there and get the job done. And you're in no win situation, because you win by 80 points. Everybody thinks that's what you should do, and you get in a close game, and it's all your fault. But win the next round, and we're happy with that.
Obviously, switching your attention to Catalan.
We're fortunate in the sense that one of the reasons that we went over there in pre-season, and we've had a couple of good trips the last couple of years, was we know how to handle that trip now. We've had a couple of well-organised, decent forays into France the last couple of years, and it's tough this kind of time of year going over there, because you can't fly you have to fly into Barcelona, and you have to bus for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. We're up for the challenge. We just get on with it now. It's not something that even the lads think about. We've got our structures. We know what we're doing. It's the same trip that we made last year. We've got things in place, and how we handle this week physically, especially over this period where in the next 2 weeks we've got some very, very tough games and some challenges ahead of us.
Would you be looking to make changes then with that in mind? Obviously, say you got the 2 games.
Oh yeah, without doubt, there'll be changes in the team. But we're in a situation now where if we can get 2 or 3 people back fit who've been carrying knocks, then I'm not picking players because they're not playing well. I'm picking players because I know that they can do the job in there, and the players that are maybe missing out aren't dropped. They're just on a rotation at the moment because of the way the season is going over these 2 weeks. And you ask the lads who have to do this the last 2 or 3 years. This is, like I say, it's a distant memory to me. But you ask the lads who are doing this regular year in year out at the moment. It's John. This is one of the most physically demanding things you'll ever do in the year. These next 2 weeks are very, very tough, because you're running with a squad of 25 when you're all fit. So if everybody's fit, then you've got a chance of changing a couple of players. But if you're running with a few injuries as well, there's lads that have got to put their hand up and play a lot of rugby over the next 2 weeks.
Nice when you can rotate, John, isn't it, like now? I mean, you've said to Dennis many a time, you've got a good group here now, and getting there as regards quality, and when you can rotate, it's got to be done.
Yeah, certainly. I think we're in a better position we have been over the past couple of seasons to rotate, and I think when Dennis does rotate, his front rows, his hookers, his back rows, there's not really much difference in the sort of the quality and what we turn out in terms of performance. So that's a really strong position to be in, but a necessity as well with the way the games are going. We've got a real tough month now. And Sunday against Halifax, that was a tough game psychologically to get up for that, do the job, and then we've got a different challenge in terms of travelling. Catalan, quick turnaround with Warrington, even quicker turnaround to the Easter. So like Dennis said, we've got a lot of challenges ahead, but that strength and depth that we've got as a squad, and quality of player that Dennis has assembled over the off season, sort of 1 to 25 instead of 1 to 17, is certainly going to help us. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a learning curve as well, isn't it, for some of these lads as well, is to understand that they're not going to get picked even when they're fit.
No.
You know, and that is that's the beauty of having a strength in depth. You know, I think maybe last year and year before certainly we didn't have that. You pick your best team on what you had fit. So you're becoming more of a squad player, whoever you are. So and again, that's something you've got to learn to accept and deal with, and keep yourself fit when you're not in the team, and when you do get your opportunity again, be ready to play. So it's a learning curve for these players as well.
Yeah.
John, what do you make of Catalan when you were over there? A couple of months ago.
We did it. Dennis did it on purpose. To get us over there, get us out of our comfort zone in sort of January. And it was tough. It's a tough thing to do. To travel to Barcelona, to coach try. To have one training session. Your training gets cut down in the week here as well. Then go and try and play. It's a tough job, but that's what we've got to do. So we're quite familiar with it now. We've only doing it a couple of months ago in pre-season. So. That type of challenge doesn't really probably phase us as much as it did. So we're excited about it. I think Catalan have hit in a bit of form as well. I think Louis Anderson back in their side adds a hell of a lot for them. Makes a big difference. I think gives the other players around them confidence as well. So I think he's been a big addition for them. So we're expecting a tough game, but we've won a lot of games. Back in the last season, this season, and we're confident as well. So we've no reason why we can't go there and do the job. If we're not confident now, we'll never be. We've had 3 great wins at the end of last year. We won, a handful of games this year. We won, lost. So, we can't not be confident. The way we're defending, the way we're attacking has all improved again, gone up another level from last year. So, and players individually are improving as well. It's competition for places, so you've got to come into the team and play confidently. You can't come in and be nervous and fritter about, because you just get dropped the next week and these lads come in. So confidence has got to be high for us.
Because of the trip, Dennis, are you having to factor in next week already because of the turn?
Yeah, I'm factoring in. Well, in a 2-week period, it's not like I'm looking at 3 or 4 planning a month, which we do with our training, and we do these 2 weeks. And you can actually have it in your mind's eye about changing the team, but it all gets thrown up in the air. Like, we came out of the game on Sunday, we didn't know where we were going to be with our half-backs, with our centres, with our front rowers. So you can have an idea, and you can't be too cautious because you've got to deal with what's in front of you now. And that's where you've got to, it's a juggling act in the sense that, like, you want to try and get the best team out there because we want to win, and want to put a big performance in, but you've also got to have just that look and beyond, and you can't break everybody at the expense of that one game. But we've been really fortunate in the sense that this year we can't grumble in the sense that we've had lots of time on the field. We haven't, because of where we're training at and the availability of the pitch, we don't miss a lot of training sessions through weather or through anything like that. So we've been really fortunate this year throughout the winter, with even it being so wet, of not having any real poor quality training session. And those are things that you put in place for times like this. And we're just talking with John on the way over here as well. It's not about how long we spend on the field now. We know what our jobs are, we know what our purpose is. It's just a little bit of a touch up, a bit of intensity, short, sharp. Let's get done what we need to get done and refresh what we've already practiced over and over again through our pre-season. And that's what this comes out. And that's why your pre-season is really important, because you've built up some pathways and some understanding of what's expected of you. And touch up in the intensity. And I'm basically pushed on by John and by Kevin and by Herb about, right, get our focus right. It doesn't have to be long. We're not putting fitness into each other, just getting our focus right. And they're the kind of sessions we'll put in place now.
After overcoming a tricky test, were you cursing the cup draw, Super League team away?
The draw's a draw. What we're looking at now is you'd like to be out the hat first, and then you look at it and say, well, we've got to beat sides anyway, and we know it's going to be a tough game. It's just, and Salford just seemed to be that side of the last 2 years where we can't stop avoiding it. Like, we drew Millennium last year, we got Millennium this year, we've got them now in the cup, so we're going to play them 4 times this season. But as John said, it's the sides. We've got plenty of confidence in ourselves at the moment, and we know we can go there. The beauty of it is that it's a great stadium, it's a good surface, it suits the way we want to play, and it's not far on the bus. Our fans are close to get across there as well. So it's everything that you could want off a draw without it being at home. It's nice and close, it's a decent surface, it's everything that, and it's going to be a game that we know that we've got to prepare for. And sometimes as a coach, and even as one of the senior players, you want games where there's a prickle up your spine and you're a hole in the bottom of your stomach that says, and not get ready for this, and that's when you get your best performances. Phelps is not far off. Good news is that Steph's not far off as well. Danny Craven's a little bit closer again, but like I said, we've had some fitness tests yesterday. They're not running the team. There's certain things that I need them to do over a couple of day period, and then I have to assess: is now the right week to put them back in straight away, or is it that next week, or is it the Monday? At this moment in time, it's about picking the city aside in a way that I can filter players back in that I know I'm going to get another good run out of them. We can't just keep picking players when they're almost just right. And I think we've got to stick with the ones that fit until the other lads are ready to go. Because, as John said, if you get inside and you don't play well, there's no like 2-3 bedding in period at the moment, because there's lads that are kicking their heels behind you and want an opportunity. When you get your chance, you've got to play well, and I want to give them the opportunity to do that by making sure they're fit and ready to go.
Denis, the news about Brett coming on board as a coaching addition.
It's a great addition, like I said, and John will probably reinforce it again. The good thing about Brett is that he's had that period where he's come in and he's seen us, and it's something that we've done a couple of times when we brought players in and just put them on trial, and it's not that we're having a look at their ability, it's how they fit within what we're trying to do, and do they integrate, are they going to be able to cope with what we want to do and fit in, because that's one of the most important things when we're dealing with people every single day. Do those people get on, and are they going to be a part of what we want to do moving forward? And Brett's shown that he is that. His ability and his understanding of the game, that's unquestionable. You see his record and where he's been. He wants to come into here, he wants to learn, he wants to work with these players. I want him to work with these players. So it's great for us as an evolving group that we can actually put Brett into that group and as one of the assistants within the club.
John, what's your take on that?
Yeah, massive coup for the club, I think, to get hold of Odjo. So play with Odjo for a couple of years at Warrington, and as Denis sort of alluded to, then his understanding of the game is very good. You know, if you look at his physical attributes, you know, as a player or lack of, you know, to play the level he played when you're 8-9 stone wet through, and play the way he played, you know, is unbelievable. And that, I think that just shows his understanding of the game and what he can bring to the club. So, you know, when you see him out on the pitch with the lads, you know, the lads are, you know, hanging off his every word, you know, in terms of kicking practice and awareness and game management and that type of stuff. So, yeah, a really good addition, I think, to Denis's to coaching staff, and you know, I think he'll bring a lot to the squad.
And what about his impact with some of the younger players on the fringes of the first team?
Yeah, again, you know, very similar to the impact he'll have for the established first team lads. You know, massive. You know, he's obviously been out there. You know, I've seen him out there quite a few times already with the academy and the youth lads doing, you know, kicking practice and work with the full backs and stuff like that. So, you know, that can only improve them as players. You know, it really can. So, you know, to have someone of his stature in the game and what he's achieved, to have him on coach, you know, for us as first team players, but also filtering down through the youth system, is brilliant for the club.
And apart from them qualities, Denis a good bloke as well, which is
well,
important.
that's what, first and foremost, like, Jack Gibson is, and it's like my job's to bring character into this place, make sure that it's the right character, make sure that the people fit, because it's a people business. I mean, it's what else we deal with each other every day, and we have to get on, we have to have a connection, and that's what breeds success. So you don't have to love everybody, but you've got to have some level of respect and understanding of what you're bringing and why you're bringing it, and trust, and that's, I know Joe's a bloke. There's no problems at all with him, and he's shown that he's got a connection within our first team group with John, with Kevin. He's been around a lot of them. He's really current. He's coming out of playing in grand finals and Challenge Cup finals, and not so long ago playing State of Origin stuff. And it's like, so he's really current in the game. And like I say, I'd put my hand up and say that I'd love to be the oracle of all, but like, you bring somebody in like Odjo, who's played in the positions he's played in, his depth of knowledge can only help this team, and they understand that he can put into those players at full back and a half back his tactical kicking, and then he's what he is good at as well. He's something I was really looking for. He's a real good kicking coach. I mean, and those they're hard to find. They're hard to find that you can fit in and then multitask around that as well. So instead of going out Stirling and just looking at a specific kicking coach, I've got the best of a lot of worlds really in someone like Brett, and like I say, I'm really pleased. I'm excited about us moving forward again, and our under-19s beat Wigan at Wigan on the weekend as well, and they beat Bradford here last week. You can see the improvement in them and the influence that someone like Brett can have, and the beauty about this place at the moment is that that's not just Brett. And then John spent time in the gym with all the under-19s and all the stuff and on the field. Hep spent time with the under-19s. I mean, Kevin spent time with we've got a great group of lads that understand that the culture of the club is not just about an isolated group of players. It goes a lot deeper than that, and it's important to them that we're successful now. 19s are successful, and as a group we're perceived to be getting better everywhere.